Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor and welcome back to another episode of Fishing with Crendor. I think we're getting close to 20 actually.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Uh,
Wow.
that's a lot of fishing.
That's a lot of fish.
I mean, I
Where
haven't really
what
caught any fish.
oh.
I caught like
Oh.
two, I think. No, I didn't even catch a fish because I tried fishing, but my fishing was so low that I didn't catch anything.
Man, 20 episodes and no fish.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
That's not
record
a
in
very good
itself.
track record. I don't mean to
It's,
disparage you, but
well, if someone needs me to not catch fish, that's a great track record.
well, that's true.
But yeah, hey,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm doing great.
So, if you don't know who this is, why don't you tell us who you are?
I am Grifter from the channel Slightly Impressive.
Only slightly
And
impressive.
that is me. Just slightly.
I feel like, did you really think that out? Like, well, I guess I'm only slightly impressive, and that's what you did when you made it.
Well, I mean, there's a story behind it.
Do tell.
Sort of. Okay, so way back in the olden days of, I don't know, 2010,
Mm-hmm.
when we were working on the Lich King fight, we were bringing in pugs. We were going like every night, whether we had a full group or not. We were bringing in pugs and just wiping all night. And then we brought this one guy in who he started out like he was gonna compliment us. Like we got to the third phase for the first time, and we were all really excited. And he was like, "So, how long have you guys been working on this?" And we were like, "Oh, like 3 weeks every night." And then he was like, "Oh, well, that's slightly impressive." And we were just like, "Yeah, thanks." So from then on, that just became the inside joke for the guild. We were,
It's
anytime
kind
we
of
did
like
something good, we were slightly impressive.
it's like a little backhanded compliment.
Right. And then
But
I just ruined it by making it the name of my channel. So,
but you also, well, I don't know about ruin it. You like you highlighted it. You're like,
yeah.
yeah, you know what? We were slightly impressive.
Yeah. I like that. Highlight. I'm the
Uh,
highlighter.
yes. So you make videos.
Mm-hmm.
You make WoW
I do that.
videos.
I do that sometimes. Yes.
When did you start doing that?
Um, it was, I think I measured time in raid instances.
Mhm.
So during Dragon Soul, um, because it was just so easy. We just blew right through it. And then I was left with all this time. Like, what do I do to fill up time? I don't know how to fill up time with things that aren't WoW. So I just, I'd been thinking about it for a while. I'd been watching like your videos and other people's videos, and I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. And I think I could do that. So then, at one point, I just did it.
I feel like that's the best
Just
way to
tried
get
it out.
started.
Yeah, you just got to start. That's what I
Yeah.
always tell people who are like, how do I get started? What is your advice for getting started doing all this? And I'm like, just throw something together, just make a video, and then try to
Mhm.
get better from there. You know?
It's true. I get at least like 10 to 20 like messages a week that are like, how do I start my YouTube channel? And I've answered it so many times that like
Hmm.
I've lost track of the amount of times. And it's like, it really is like not that difficult. It's just you
Yeah.
get the things to make videos and then you do it. And it's like people go, oh, well, what are the things you need? It's like a video editor and a recording software and a microphone.
Yep.
You don't even need a
Just
microphone if you like want to make some silent films or like whatever. I don't know.
oh well, there's an idea.
Yeah. You mean you can do whatever you want. Just do
Yeah.
what you have fun doing. That's the biggest one. You gotta have fun.
Have fun.
So what did you like? What did you start on YouTube making?
I mean, the first video I ever made was this just really pointless and terrible Let's Play of a battleground, and I'm not even a PvPer, so it wasn't even like, here's me being good in a battleground. It was here's me being terrible in a battleground and terrible at making videos. Because I didn't know how to record in the right resolution. My monitor was all wrong. Everything was just all wrong.
Yeah.
But So I started out doing things like that. I did some videos like on the PTR that nobody really watched. Just giving my opinions on stuff. Nobody cares about your opinions if they don't know who you are. So
Mm-hmm.
that didn't really go anywhere. But then I tried machinima, and like right away there was some interest in that, and it was really fun. So I was like, okay, well this is what I want to keep doing then.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like three. I think it was the third machinima I made. Got picked up by WoW Insider, and yeah, just I guess the rest is history. It just they started featuring a lot. I guess rest in peace for WoW Insider.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
I forgot what they are now. They've changed to.
Um, Blizzard Watch.
Oh yeah, Blizzard Watch. That's what they
Yeah.
are. It's yeah. It's got. I had the same thing because I got a lot of my stuff featured on WoW Insider,
Yeah.
and it's like when you first start out, you really need just any publicity you can get,
Just
which
some
yeah.
way for people to even know you exist. Yeah.
Yeah, so like posting on forums or getting featured on blogs or like getting high in the search rankings on YouTube, just like a combination of all those things. And like you really have to know a lot of marketing and just ways to get your content seen. It's like it's one thing to create something and be like, cool, I did that for a fun hobby, and it's another to be like, all right, I want a lot of people to see this, because then
Yeah.
you're like diving into two different fields at that point.
Yeah, and it's the two very different fields, and you've got to pretty much have to devote equal attention to both.
Hmm. But I mean, once you get bigger, like it gets a little easier because you build that following, and so you automatically get like a certain view base that'll help like boost your videos. And then in addition to that, they'll take your videos and send them to like blogs and websites and all those
Yeah.
things.
People sharing your videos is what helps the most. Just like, just telling their friends, telling people they think might like them, just because it just spreads that way.
Yeah, and that's how I felt when I first started making videos too. That like made me want to make videos is I was like, wow, I enjoy like finding funny YouTube videos, and then you like find something you really like, and you're like, wow, this really is funny, and you're like, hey everybody, and you link it to like your friends and Skype or whatever chat you're using, and they're all like, wow, that is funny, and then they link it to their friends. And like it's always rewarding to be the person that like finds that funny video, and so I
Yeah.
was like, what if I make the funny video for people to find? And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I always find something rewarding about that. Is creating something that makes a bunch of people like happy and laugh. And it sounds really cliche too. It's like, I just like making people laugh. That's my reward. But but it's
Yeah, but
like,
it's true though.
yeah, it's true.
And you never know like how much that can affect somebody too, like we don't make these videos to be like we want to be a positive change for the world or anything, but like that sometimes just making somebody laugh makes all the difference. Like I'm sure you get lots of messages like that too. People are like, I was going through this really hard time, and your videos are like what got me through that and things like that.
Yeah, and it's
It's
like it's even gone to another level for me because I've gone to so many like conventions and like real life stuff that like I've met like hundreds, if not thousands, of like fans in person, and it's like that's a whole nother thing where like you see them face to face and they're like, your videos like changed my life, and you're like,
yeah.
damn,
It's like wow, I was just messing around trying to trying to entertain people.
yeah. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how we got to this point, but
I don't either.
let's rewind it back.
Okay.
So, how did you start playing World of Warcraft?
Pretty much the same story of how I started YouTube. I just was just bored, looking for something to do. It was right after college, and I had moved out on my own, and it was like after college, everybody just kind of moves. Like all your friends move away all over the country, all over the world. So it was like, all right, I need something to do in the evenings here. So I was looking at games. I actually tried Eve first, and that just wasn't for me. I really liked the concept of Eve, but it was actually playing it just no,
Yeah.
not the game for me.
I like the soundtrack of Eve.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was my favorite part about it. And then I realized that I mainly just played it for the soundtrack, and I was like, I'm
Yeah,
just gonna get the SoundCloud of the soundtrack.
that's probably it's probably more efficient
Yeah,
than wading through endless menus.
and spreadsheets.
Yeah. Yeah, so they had the free trial back then where you got 2 weeks free. So I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, it looks kind of cartoony and childish, but hey, maybe I'll like it.
Yeah,
Um, so I tried it out and just immediately I was hooked. I was just like, wow, this is really fun. This place is huge. You get gear and you put it on and you level up. This is amazing. I'm gonna do this all the time now.
and when was that, like, expansion wise?
It was somewhere in the middle of Wrath. So I I don't know if it was like the Old War days or the TOC days, but somewhere along in there. And then I
Yeah.
didn't raid until ICC.
Oh, so you didn't raid till like all the raids were already out
Yeah.
in Wrath. All right, and like, did you raid with people you knew from college that like had moved, or like did you raid
No,
just with
I
random people?
really everybody I played with in the game, I just met in the game.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't ever really played with anybody I've known in real life. Like I've met people who played, but
mm-hmm. Well,
yeah, it's
like,
always
how many people have you met in game that like you raided with back then that you still talk to?
oh a lot. I mean,
Are you still in the same guild?
no, I'm in a different guild than that one. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like you, whoops, I'm like going for a swim here. I'm too excited about my fishing.
It's hard
Yeah,
to
it's
get.
cool. Like you meet people that you wouldn't come across otherwise. You know, like
Yeah.
that's the interesting thing about WoW is that people that if you pass them on the street or whatever, like you wouldn't stop and talk to them. Like you wouldn't ever get to know each other, just
Mm-hmm.
because like maybe you're just in totally different places in life or whatever. But in this game, like you don't know that until you do get to know somebody. So you get to know people you never would have talked to.
Yeah. I mean, I've met a lot of cool people through WoW too. Like, some of them I don't talk to as much as I used to, but it's like during the times I played the game, like I talked to them a lot. I think part of that's due to just like life happening as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which, 'cause, I mean, in vanilla WoW, I was still in high school, so
Oh yeah.
yeah. So like vanilla WoW, I was just like raiding and not caring and not doing homework, and then TBC I think was like I was still in high school, and then Wrath of the Lich King was like when I was started like community college, and so like that's when I started raiding with new people, and like the people I played vanilla with, I kind of forgot about, and then after Wrath is when I did YouTube stuff, and that's kind of when I like forgot about a lot of the people I knew in Wrath.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like as you progress, it's life. It's like you move on and you change as a person, and they change, and like a lot of people like stop playing WoW because it was like affecting their family lives.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
so,
always sucks when that happens.
yeah. Like I remember one guy, I think he got divorced because he was like raid leading, and that's like all he would do. And then
Yeah.
after that happened, he was like, I'm going to quit the game because, like, I need to get my life together. And we were like, okay.
Yeah. I guess that's okay.
Like,
Yeah,
did you have anyone that, like, had some crazy stuff
Yeah,
happen?
the very first guild, well, I joined this one guild that was a leveling guild, and then some of us splintered off from that to make this really small guild when I was still leveling up, but they were a bunch of old pros. But the guild ended up dissolving because two of the officers had an affair and ran off with each other.
Oh,
And yeah, so that was a bunch of drama. Caused a divorce and caused a whole bunch of horrible things and dissolved the first guild I was ever in. So
oh.
that was kind of a bad start, I guess.
A little bit, you could say that.
That's kind of the stereotype of WoW, I guess. But I don't know. I think I think stuff like that could happen with anything. Like
Yeah.
you can let anything take over your life and just, not put the time you should into other things.
Yeah. Like a lot of people blame WoW for that, but I mean, you could do that with TV. You
Yeah.
could do that with, watching.
Facebook.
Yeah, with going on Facebook with, any pastime that just drains all your time being lazy or just sitting around. If
Yeah.
anything, WoW actually encourages you to like at least socialize,
Yeah.
which that's what I always enjoyed. A lot of people don't see it as that. And I think a lot of older people see it as like, oh, you're just sitting on the computer. When in actuality, they don't understand how many people you're interacting with.
Yeah. They kind of see video games as just like Pong.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there, just trying to get the high score.
Pause the game.
Yeah, just pause it.
So, did you ever play Warcraft, like the RTS game?
Oh man, I missed out on Warcraft 3, which is like the big one that everybody loves, right?
Mm-hmm.
I played the second one, and I wish I had the case sitting here somewhere, but it's funny, I found it recently, and just looking at it, like, it's hilarious the things it says, because it was when BattleNet first started.
Yeah.
So it has all these things like play with your friends online over the internet or something like that. And it's just like, wow. I guess, yeah, that was sort of when that whole thing really took off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember much about that game. I don't remember any lore or anything. But yeah, I did play that a lot.
When did you play it before World of Warcraft?
Oh yeah. Yeah, this was, I don't know when that came out, but it was before Warcraft 3 came out. Is
Yeah.
when I was playing it, like when it was the latest installment.
Yeah. I think
Warcraft 2.
Warcraft 3 came out in the early 2000s.
Okay.
So, it might have been like the late 90s.
Yeah.
Warcraft 2. That makes sense.
Yeah, the internet was even barely a thing.
I know. There's a lot of dial-up back then.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. That's what I was playing on, a dial-up connection.
Yep. I mean, it's crazy how much it's changed in even just like 10, 15 years.
Right?
Like, the speeds in which, like, the internet has got... Because you go from, like, barely being able to load a picture to, like, streaming, like, high-quality HD video.
Kids these days, they got it so good.
So good. We didn't have HD TV even. But I mean, you should play Warcraft 3.
I know. Everybody always says I should do Let's Plays of it, and I think I might.
Yeah, because I mean, I Let's Played that entire game, and it took a while. And in a while, I mean like months. But I think it was worth it. You learn a lot about like the whole Warcraft story. You like, especially like having played WoW, you kind of are like, oh, whoa, it's Kulthazad, even though like he was already there before WoW. So you're like, but you learn about the story, and it's just a fun game to play, and you get to have people yell at you in the comments and be like, how'd you miss that item?
Yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah, so you should do that. It's fun.
Yeah, all the lore stuff that people get excited about in WoW, pretty much all of it came from Warcraft 3, it seems like.
Yeah.
Like, especially the whole Lich King thing. You know, I started playing in Wrath, so I didn't really know exactly what was going on. It was just like, oh, the Lich King, he's just like the big bad guy we're trying to kill.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's got this whole backstory, and that's why everybody was so excited about that.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to go back and play through all that.
Yeah, you'll definitely enjoy it. Because, I mean, even you learn about, like, when you start, you're like, whoa, it's good Arthas. And he's all like, I'm a paladin.
Yeah.
And, like, you just do all the stuff. Then you, like, slowly watch him get crazy over time. And I think that's kind of cool, is, like, watching that all play out. And then Illidan, even. Because, I mean, you start with, like, normal Illidan in that game. And then he becomes Demon Illidan.
Yeah.
So you get to see both of those, especially with Legion coming up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get on that.
You do. What do you think of Legion?
I'm excited. I mean, it's that time where all we have is hype. So you can't really help being excited, but you know, I'm enjoying the hype for now. Really excited about Demon Hunters. Just really want to play one
Yeah.
right now.
It's like, I don't know, people always get like, don't get so hyped up about it, but
I
it's like
know.
that's part of the fun.
Why not?
Yeah, it's like it's fun. I don't know. I always enjoy that. Like when something first gets announced and like all the things and like the speculation, you're like, oh man, this could be awesome. And it's
Yeah.
just fun to. I think it's fun to hype it up instead of just being like, we'll see how it is. It'll probably be bad. Like that's
Yeah.
not fun.
No reason to be so cynical.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think they learned from Garrisons. I think the new thing sounds a lot better. Like they have class halls. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, class order halls.
Yeah, class order halls, and
It's an interesting idea.
yeah, it's kind of like you take Garrisons, but instead of being like, "Hey, go get me gear," they're like, "Hey, I found some cool gear. Why don't you come with me and we can
Yeah.
get it together instead of just sitting here?" So they're actually encouraging you to go out in the world again.
Yeah, let fewer Facebook games would be
Yeah.
good. Wow, I think. I
Exactly.
think everybody would agree with that.
And it's like people, I think at first, even with like profession gathering, everyone saw that and was like, wow,
Yeah.
I can just get like all the stuff in my garrison. I don't have to go anywhere. And then you realize that like it's so easy that and you get so much of it, you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
you'd rather go compete over it all in the world.
Yeah, I'm optimistic because it seems like a lot of their general philosophies for how this expansion, how they want it to go, it seems like they're going in a good direction. Like
Mhm.
they're really looking at what didn't work in Warlords and trying to improve on that. Like a big thing for me is how they keep saying they want like the different classes to feel different and for them to really for you to really experience like the flavor of that class with
Mhm.
the class order halls and specific quests and things like that. I think that's a good direction because everybody always complains like, oh, they took the class quests out
Yeah.
and it's all homogenized. Everything feels the same, and I think there's some truth to that. So I think it's a good direction to go.
Yeah. I think even like story wise, I think it's a cool story of like we're not actually going back in time, we're in the world again.
Yeah,
And the whole like Illidan is back, and like some people might be like they're just trying to reuse the characters for like fan appeal.
yeah,
But I'm fine with that. I'd be fine with like Arthas coming back as like an undead zombie Arthas.
yeah.
That would
You
be
could,
perfectly
you could fight
fine with
Bolvar to get his throne back,
it. Yeah.
and then we
Like,
got to decide who to side with.
yeah. I would play that.
I
I'm
would
not
too.
gonna lie.
I mean, I would play probably anything they made, but
Yeah.
I would play that more.
Yeah. I'd love that. And I mean, like even Gul'dan, even though it's like the second coming of Gul'dan,
Hmm.
I think it'd be kind of funny if he found his old skull.
That's
Still with him.
yeah. I want a scene with Illidan and Gul'dan, and just Gul'dan being kind of creeped out because Illidan is just still just obsessed with his skull, even though it's still in his head.
Yeah.
I want him to learn about that whole thing and just be a little bit uneasy about it.
Well, that was the lore question I asked Noble in our video.
Oh
When I talked about lore, I was like, what if Gul'dan found his old skull and then absorbed its power and had like
Ah.
twice his power?
He would be double Gul'dan.
Yeah.
He'd be
'Cause I mean,
Gul'dan.
Gul'dan. Because then, like, maybe he'd be strong enough to fight a Dreadlord or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could find out, even though they're not going to do that probably. They might, I guarantee they'll make like some little joke about it.
I hope
Somewhere.
so. I hope there's some kind of quest at least.
Yeah.
Something.
And I mean PvP. I like the PvP changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they said the last time they changed the PvP system was Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a pretty long time ago.
That's
So-
yeah, since before I played, so
Yeah. And I remember that old honor system like they used to have, because I remember there's this one guy. I forgot his name. He was a mage though, an undead mage, and he was in our guild and he would always be online. And we were like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Farming High Warlord." And that's like all he would do. And I PvP'd with him sometimes, and I was like, "Well, that was fun. I'm gonna go do something else." And he's like, "All right." But he would always be on. I think he got High Warlord,
Mhm.
and then he stopped playing the game.
It, is that the same guy that WoW ruined his life?
It's not, but I
Okay.
feel
Okay,
like
good.
it probably did anyway.
Maybe.
Or
But
he just
hey, he got
really,
High Warlord.
he
Not many
did.
people can say that.
I mean, he can put on the High Warlord title like to this day.
Yeah. You can
If he
impress the
didn't
grandkids with
like,
that someday.
as long as he didn't die from like exhaustion or something.
Oh, well, yeah, there's always that. I mean, if he just stopped playing.
Yeah, just like I did it and he just falls over. I mean, that'd be a bittersweet way to die. I mean, he
Yeah.
achieved what he wanted, but he
There's worse
also,
ways to die.
yeah. Yeah, what were we talking about?
PvP.
Oh yeah, PvP.
Yes.
So I think it's really
I-
cool because like
yeah.
the talent system now.
I like the prestige system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about the talent system. It just kind of depends on what they do. Like, I think it's a good step to kind of separate it from PvE that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, more talents? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the best thing about it is that now you can have talents that maybe you wanted for solely PvP, like
Mhm.
in that PvP tree. Well, maybe before you're like, this is a really cool PvP talent, and I want to put it in the talent tree, but it's gonna break PvE in some way if we put it in.
That's true. Yeah, it does give them the chance for the developers to balance them a little bit more separately. So that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that probably should have been in the game a long time ago.
Yeah.
With like talent trees being such an important thing for years. Like they probably should have did that even like in Wrath of the Lich King, like separated them.
Yeah, I think what they've always said is that they want it to be like a PvEer could just jump into PvP and know what's going on
Mm-hmm.
and not have to learn a whole new system. Which I guess that's kind of what I'm hesitant about with the PvP talents is like, oh, I have to go learn all this other stuff. But for people who mainly PvP, like that's a really good thing for them.
Yeah. And I think it's cool too because there's not as much of a gear reliance then, which like a lot of
Mhm.
people I know did in PvP just 'cause they're like, oh, everybody already has good PvP gear, so I'll just get killed.
Yeah.
So like that was a big. I think that's one of the main reasons they changed it. It's because they knew it was such a misbalance because of PvP gear. And I'm sure they'll still have PvP gear, but it won't be as big of a role as it's been.
Yeah, they've got to at least have some way to get gear through
Yeah.
PvP, even if it's not different.
Mm-hmm. And with the prestige mode, it's cool because then you can like get cool customizable items and stuff with that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea of being able to reset yourself, kind of to give up some power and have to work through it again, like for bragging rights or to get cosmetic rewards and things like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I remember how long it was like vanilla WoW even. Like I really wanted the like shoulder pads that like a lot of the guards had them. They were like spiky shoulders and they like arched upward.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they were really cool and I was like, I want those, and I just PvP'd until I was able to buy them with honor or whatever it was. And I was like, this is awesome. And like I haven't had that feeling like since that time. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I just stopped caring or like if the gear I didn't think the gear looked as cool. Maybe. I don't know. Something made me not care as much.
Yeah. Maybe you're just getting old.
That's probably it.
Long in the tooth.
Just getting old. So what are some of your favorite memories in World of Warcraft?
Oh man. First one that always pops up or comes to mind is killing the Lich King. Because that was my first raid was ICC. So killing the end boss of that, it just seemed so epic.
That's a pretty epic first raid to
Yeah.
start on.
And I mean, we were a really casual guild, so it was like a really big thing for us to be able to finish a raid. And yeah, it was really awesome.
Has anything like met that like that epicness, like, or was that like your first was like the best raid and you haven't had anything like it?
That's probably the most excited I've been as far as like achieving something in WoW.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of fun memories just like screwing around.
Like what?
Um, oh man, okay, so I think everybody does this from time to time, like go over to Moonguard and the Goldshire Inn,
Yeah.
and just mess around there. But one game that me and my girlfriend played, or we played it a few times, where we would go there and just try to get people to RP just baking a cake and like try to make it sound like it's suggestive, like we're gonna do something else, but
Yeah.
then to just literally have them bake a cake with us. Just so many, like you get people who play along for a while and then they get bored and they run away. And there was this one guy who we got him all the way to the point where we had the cake like in the forge building was
Yeah.
the oven. So we had him put the cake away and then we're like, okay, now we've got to wait 45 minutes. And we did. And they waited. Like we were talking and stuff, but they weren't on the Skype call.
Yeah.
So they're just waiting around for 45 minutes and we're like, okay, now it's time to take the cake out. So he goes to take it out, or no, I go to take it out, and then I act like it burned me. I'm just like, oh no, oh I have third-degree burns, and I'm like, why didn't you bring the pot holders? What's the matter with you? And so we both got mad at it, and then they just cried and ran away.
So they
And
spent
that's
they spent that like whole hour
yeah,
just waiting for the cake.
that's my cake story.
I mean, how many people did you actually get to like bake a cake with you?
Oh, I mean, I think it probably like three.
That's pretty good.
It wasn't.
Did
Oh,
anyone actually like
whoa,
complete the cake process?
I have an achievement. Achieved something. No, that was the furthest we got with anybody.
Yeah.
It's the hand burning. But I feel like we won that day.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know how many people would actually wait around that long for a fake cake to be
No,
baked.
I don't know. I don't know if they thought some actual ERP was going to happen at the end, or
I'm sure
I
they
don't know.
did. They just, like in their mind, this was like the build up. They're
Yeah.
like, here it comes, any day now.
Uh,
But I mean, yeah, those are like the most fun stories. Is like when you create your own kind of fun
yeah.
in the game. And I mean, Final Fantasy's been a big game now.
I haven't
And
played it.
yeah, I only played it in beta, but like I know a lot of people play it now, and that's like the one thing I keep seeing in Final Fantasy is like people like playing it because they have a lot of ways to create your own fun. Like they have guild housing and like furniture and like all types of stuff you can decorate it, and so I think a lot of people just enjoy that because like you just chill around with your friends in your guild house and have fun.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like WoW would benefit greatly from something like that and having
That's
like,
what, yeah.
little furniture things they can put all over.
That's what I thought about with the garrisons and everything. I thought that for a long time that it should have been tied to guilds
Mm-hmm.
instead of an individual thing, because then it's like then it's more of a community thing. Like you have something that you can do together. I didn't actually know that Final Fantasy had that.
Yeah, because yeah, like you can like have a big guild house. They have like meeting rooms. I mean, even in Final Fantasy or Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, like people get married in that as well.
Whoa.
Like people, I guess you pay money and then they give you a wedding date and everyone shows up on your wedding date. And I've seen multiple Final Fantasy weddings with like many people that showed up. So I mean,
Wow.
it has
That's like an actual in-game mechanic.
yeah, and
Wow.
like everybody like when they get married, everyone casts their spells and stuff. So like it'd be like in WoW if people are just like arcane explosioning all at once,
Yeah.
and like it's pretty cool, honestly. Like I think it's cool. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but
No.
I mean everybody else like enjoys those things, and it's like it's not even just about like oh they got to put weddings in WoW. It's more just like they need those types of events where it's like fun things you can just go have fun at with your friends, where you can like make your
Yeah.
own fun.
I think they tried some of that with like the selfie camera and stuff, but that's more individual stuff.
Yeah, which is ironic because it's like a game made for social interaction and
Right, yeah.
massive multiplayer online. You know, I don't know. I feel like they'll get there. I think they're realizing it.
Yeah.
I like to think so, at least.
I'm optimistic.
Yeah. One day. I just want to have a guild house where I can put, like, a gammon chair.
Yeah.
That's all I want. Just, like, a gammon chair.
Like a chair made out of gammon, or like a chair for gammon to sit in?
Either one.
Okay.
I'll take either.
How about both?
And it's like you can, sit in it. It's, like, shaped like him, made out of him.
Put a
And he's
gammon
just
in
like,
your gammon.
Yes, come sit with me. You're like, all right, gammon.
Sit on my lap.
Yeah. Gammon. I mean, yeah, that's all I want.
Yeah.
Kind of like Animal Crossing.
That's right. Yeah, that's how I'm imagining it.
Yeah.
Although if it's a guild thing, I feel like there's going to be a lot of fights about interior decorating differences.
I mean, that's true. However, like you probably could like assign different people to be able to move the stuff.
Yeah.
And have like a role called like interior decorator, and you could like give that to someone, and
The
they're like
officer
in charge
of interior design.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool. I'd like that. Maybe you could like get your own room, like an instanced room.
Oh.
That'd be cool. That way you can like have the main guild hall, and then you like walk into an instance room and you got your own room. Actually, I think that is in Final Fantasy as well.
Is it really?
I think so. But yeah. I'm lost now.
Oh.
This is what happens. You keep
we're in
going.
Zanger Marsh.
Oh,
It's 2015.
okay. Whoa, it's 2015.
Yeah.
Zanger Marsh is really cool.
It is.
I mean, even just this part, like Spore Gar, like you have the giant spore things, like kind of swaying back and forth. I always like this part of it, because even like the coloring and the water and the rain.
Yeah, it's blue. I feel like all the best zones are blue.
Yeah.
And all the best night elves. And all the best hair.
Are blue.
And all the best things in life are blue, really.
Your guy kind of looks grayish, though.
I mean, he's got some blue. Oh, his skin?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Yeah. He could be a little more blue, you're right.
Yeah. But he's got blue hair, so that kind of counts for something. Any other memories that you can think of?
Not off the top of my head. How about you?
Oh, I'm like the person, I feel like I'm that friend, like, 'cause people have heard my stories so often, I'm like,
That's
well,
true, yeah.
there was the time I ninja looted Broodlord's head, and they're like, not again.
Oh, Grandpa, you tell this story every time.
It's a good story.
Every time we
Damn
go
it.
fishing.
Back in vanilla, wow. I mean, I remember Molten Core. I remember one time I was the bomb in the Baron-Geddon fight, and I did blow up the raid, and I blamed someone else. And I think they got kicked out of the raid. And not until after they got kicked out of the raid did they realize it was me, and it was only a couple people who realized it, but nobody cared.
Aw.
I was also a priest, and they needed healers, so...
Oh, well, that helps.
Yeah, that did help. That's why I made my priest in the first place. And it's a good choice. Solid choice.
People would like you.
Yeah. And so people didn't steal my hunter gear, which they would do.
Yeah.
Because I had my hunter, and everybody would steal my gear because there's no, like, this is for a hunter. And so I was like, I'm going to make a priest. And I named him Crendor, and that was that. I mean, what other fun stories? I mean, Burning Crusade. I didn't play a lot in the Burning Crusade. I did Karazhan. I love Karazhan.
Yeah,
That's supposed to be back in the Legion, too.
Is it really?
Yeah, they said
I hadn't heard
Karazhan
that.
will play an important role in Legion.
Oh.
So whether it's
There was
a raid
some kind of
or...
weirdness where they were like, they data mined something, like it popped back up without all the cobwebs or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, what is this going to be? And then nothing happened.
It may have been for now.
It's just a clean Karazhan.
I mean,
the
it's
maid
possible,
service has come through.
like, somebody, like, went in there and, like, took it over. I don't know. Maybe... I don't know what. I just want to go back to Karazhan.
Maybe that's the raid. We're just going in there to clean it.
I would play
So
that raid.
yeah,
Fight like dust bunny
yeah, you get like
bosses.
feather dusters and magical vacuum cleaners, and you just got to go clean the whole thing.
It's like a broom that's gone out of control. He's like
Oh
demon
yeah,
possessed now. Like enrages into a giant broom.
yeah, that's a problem.
Like he has a giant sweep attack that knocks everyone back.
Yeah,
I mean, this stuff writes itself.
it
Blizzard.
does. I
Come
mean,
on.
I assume they're watching,
Yeah,
so I'm expecting that to show up.
obviously. I'm actually trying to get a couple Blizzard like employees on the show.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, like I want to get a Taryn Gregory on. He does like the what do you call them? The cinematics and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I've always talked to him too, cause like he got started doing machinima, and then Blizzard was like, "Hey, you want to make cinematics for us?" And he was like,
nice.
"Sure." And that was his story. Now he's been doing it ever since. And I want to get Zarhim on, the community manager,
Hmm.
because I think he'd have stories. The biggest problem is they have to like get approved by their like person that controls their like Blizzard
Life.
employee stuff. Yeah, their
Yeah.
life essentially. Who has to be like, yes, you are allowed to do this thing. So that's the hard part. But one day,
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
But I think my favorite thing about doing this show is I just get to talk to people that normally like I wouldn't get to talk to.
Yeah,
'Cause I mean, I've sat down with so many people, and even getting to revisit with a lot of people like Oxhorn or a lot of older people
hmm,
in the community, and so it's just a fun show where I'm like, hey, let's talk about WoW, because I mean, the more I like looked around, there was never really a show where someone was like, let's nostalgia out about WoW that wasn't like the WoW forums.
yeah,
So I was like, why not? I think it's been going well.
yeah. And you get a lot of fish. Well, I guess you don't get a lot of fish.
I don't get a lot of fish.
I
I
got a lot of fish.
sacrifice fish for like camera and atmosphere.
Okay, well,
So
that's acceptable.
yeah. How many fish have you caught?
Oh man, I don't know. Let's see.
Count them up.
I've caught 19 barbed gilled trout, 2 spotted felltail, and 2 Zangarian sporefish.
Nice.
So I'm sure those will come in really handy.
You never know. It's just like they decide to be like, we're gonna add in some Burning Crusade fish for the new expansion.
Yeah.
It's like, wow,
The new currency is Zangarian sporefish.
this is very convenient. Awesome. But yeah, I think I can't think of any other things to add. Can you think of any other things to add?
Other things. No, I think that might be all the things.
That might be all the things. All right. Well, why don't you tell everyone where to find you then?
Okay, I can be found at youtube.com/SlightlyImpressive. And yeah, I make machinima. I try to make one like every 2 weeks. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't.
My life.
I've been streaming a lot lately. I've been streaming on YouTube recently, which has been pretty fun. Doing the
Oh.
Ironman challenge.
That's pretty cool.
Doing really badly at the Ironman challenge.
What is the Ironman challenge? Is that...
It's like, it's not an official thing. It's like a player created challenge, but you just have all these rules you have to follow to make leveling harder. Like you can't have any gear that's better than white quality, and you can't pick a spec or have any glyphs or anything like that. And if you die, you have to start over. So the goal is to get to max level without dying.
Oh, whoa.
So I've started over like 3 times now.
What's the highest you've gotten?
19. Yeah.
Where do you die at? What's
Oh man, the last one just wasn't fair at all because it's a glitched mob. Where like when they did the item squish, they didn't squish one of this mob's abilities, so it just one-shots anybody. He's like, I think it's called Subject 4. He's this dinosaur in Northern Barrens, or in Ashara.
Oh.
Is where he is. So yeah, I just go up there and stab him with my rogue knives, and then I was dead. And then I was sad.
That's pretty sick. How many hours did you put in to get to that level?
Oh, not a whole lot. It was like I usually stream for a couple hours at a time. It was like I don't know, maybe 4 episodes.
Yeah, that's still pretty cool. I mean, I would try that, but I feel like I have a hard enough time leveling, like
Yeah.
normally, and everyone yells at me, and they're like, "Crendor, I got to level 90 in like 2 hours." I'm like, "That's cool."
That wouldn't be much of a Let's Play series.
Yeah, exactly.
4 episodes. Okay, done.
My whole thing was like I wanted to level and like read the quests and like learn about the quests and not just like be like, collect the things. Okay, let's go do it. I wanted to be like, why are we doing this? Like, what's
Yeah.
happening? Like, read it in the voices and like, I've had fun doing that and I've learned a lot. And so I'm still doing it. And now I'm in Outland. I'm almost a Zangarmarsh, ironically.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
My approach is just to constantly get lost and confused about what I'm supposed to be doing, and then get yelled at by the chat, and so that takes up a lot of time.
It's a solid strategy.
Yeah, it's working well.
Well, I will put your links in the description for all the
Awesome.
lazy people. And yeah, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
It has been quite pleasurable.
It has indeed. I think it's a very calming episode.
Yes.
Very low-key episode. I don't know how to end these things. I always say this.
I don't know. You could just say like end.
All right. End.